Alright, let's have a look at Katara's moveset. So we're just going to start with buttons, then move to specials, and just a quick showcase of them all, and not a full breakdown, just explanation of what they do. So, her standing light, and her double standing light, standing medium, standing heavy. All chained together looks like light, light, medium, heavy. Crouching, crouching medium, crouching heavy, and together they'll look like light, light, medium, heavy. Her throw is unique. It doesn't do much damage, but it does freeze them so you can get a combo afterwards. Next, she only has one command normal, which means you press one of her basic buttons plus a direction, and that is forward heavy. You can press it once, or you can press it twice, and it's one of her longest reaching normals. Her heavy reaches only around that distance, but her forwards heavy can reach a decent bit further than that, and this follow-up is very consistent to hit as well. Now, this is her jumping light. Fastest, but, not a great jump in hitbox. You have to be very low. It's more for aerial combos or air-to-airs. Jump medium, and jump heavy. Jump medium, of course, is going to be very useful for when you're switching over to the other side of the opponent. It has a very generous hitbox on the other side. Okay, that's all of her regular normals. Oh, and keep in mind that your command normals, so the buttons with a direction, are the ones that can cancel into flow moves, and that's going to be what's most important for her combos, because that's how you can dash into the air. Now, let's talk about her flow buttons. Neutral flow, this is just the parry, looks cool. Forward flow is an ice slide, and back flow is basically the exact same thing, just in reverse. The ice slide is pretty cool. It can go through the opponent, so sometimes this can create mix-ups if you perhaps have these shards on the screen, and you can switch over to the other side and get some setups going like that. You can also jump. This also is pretty fast as a dash, so if I'm around this distance, I can just dash in and do a sliding attacks in on the opponent. So it's good at starting offense. Versus her run, which is just a little bit slower, but similar. And also, you get a follow-up from your flow movements. So you can do flow and press up flow. And you get this really high jump that launches yourself over the opponent. Same for the back one, nice really high jump. Or you can just keep holding forward and do flow again, and you'll get a little bit of a lower jump. This one's better to use in neutral, because you might jump over the opponent a little bit faster. But generally the one we're going to be using in our combos, particularly after this, is the up flow jump, because she jumps a lot higher and you can get some better juggles off of it after stuff like this. Okay, that is all of her flow movement. She doesn't have anything in the air. Now, time for her specials. So, we're starting with quarter circle forward. In this game, all characters only have quarter circle forward or quarter circle back special moves. In general, some characters also have down down or whatever. So, starting with quarter circle forward. Light is going to be the start of the Rekka chain. And she has all of these different moves from her Rekka. This is light, this is medium, and this is heavy. So you can see that the light one is the fastest and it launches the opponent up. The medium one is a low that they have to block low, and the heavy one is an overhead. And both the medium and the heavy, low and overhead are a little bit slower than the light version. And you can link these together. You don't actually have to do if you can see here, I'm doing the input for all of them, like quarter circle forward, quarter circle forward, quarter circle forward, but you can actually just go quarter circle forward for the first one, and then just mash the buttons for the rest. So see, I'm just mashing light, and then just mash heavy and medium for the rest of them to make the input a lot easier and less complicated. Now, what's cool about these is there are 3 different special moves, but you can link them all together in whatever order you like. So the one that I'm doing here in neutral is just the light, heavy into medium. But if I wanted to, I could also do medium into heavy. That doesn't combo though. But if we're keeping in mind that this is, block pressure, I can go low into overhead or overhead into low. Good mix. And you're not even limited at that. If I just really like the light version because it's more consistent, fast in combos, I can go back to it. You don't have to do them in any specific order at all, and you can even go back to ones you've used previously, but you can only have a maximum of 3 hits in the cancels. So I can go light, la la la, or I can go medium, light, medium, medium, light, heavy, literally any order you like. Which is really cool, and it lets you really decide what you want to go for. Am I just starting this in neutral with an overhead, or like a neutral low, and then picking it up? Or do I want to use one of them specifically? The only real thinking about which one to end with is that if you end with a heavy one, you get a really long knockdown that's plus 53, so maybe you can get some setups with these. So yeah, that's her chain. When you do the EX version, she does a big slam onto the opponent and it spawns in one of your ice clouds. Now in the air, we have projectiles as quarter circle forward. Now these are probably a really important part of her toolset, especially playing early. It allows her to control the screen so easily. Like even from almost full screen, I can hit them with this projectile. And it's very, very, very powerful. And if you do the medium version, as you can see here, it's a lot steeper of an angle. So this is the medium versus this is the light. A lot better angle. And the heavy version is the ice cloud. If we do enhanced, we get triple ice cloud. So that's her quarter circle forward series. Now, quarter circle back. This is her water whip stance. If you just do quarter circle back light, she will go into the stance like this. Quarter circle back medium, she'll go into the stance by evading backwards. And if you do quarter circle back heavy, she will do a little bit of a strike before going into the stance. Now, if you do the enhanced entering of the stance, she will just do a faster strike that also launches the opponent up while also going into the stance. And of course, these strikes can be followed up with lots of different stuff to get really cool combos from them. Even the heavy one like this, you can easily get simple follow-ups. So, when we're actually in the water whip stance, no matter which way we enter, the follow-ups are going to be the same. This is the light, it's just a straight whip forwards. This is the medium, it's a long reaching low, like basically 2/3 of the screen long. Very, very long reaching. And the heavy is the anti-air one. Now, when we do these special moves in the air, they're basically the same look, except you don't have to go into the stance, and they have a slightly different order. So, on the ground, the one that goes straight up is the heavy version, but in the air, this is the light version. She just does the straight up-down whip, which once again is really good for mix-ups, particularly if you're doing stuff like this. You can switch sides with the opponent, do it like directly on top of them, sometimes get a combo. The medium version is your really good zoning one, it's diagonally downwards. So like if you're doing a jump in, they try to anti-air you, you can go, nope, I'm going to whip you out. And you can do it pretty low to the ground as well. So it's kind of a good zoning tool, like I can do like a jump back into this and then we're instantly full screen, which is pretty strong. And the heavy version, whoops, it goes slightly upwards. And this can be useful in some combos where you need an extension and something that maybe puts the opponent a little bit, or like hits them upwards. Sometimes it's useful. Now, as you can see, the enhanced version that you spend meter on is this crazy triple whip, and it also spawns one of our ice clouds. So both of our enhanced specials in the air spawn ice clouds. This one does a lot of damage, launches you full screen. You can also, you're left in the air, so you can take an air action, as you can see here. I'm putting a icicle down. Not really that useful, but I could also try to go, if we were high in the air, I can do a water whip as well. Which doesn't connect with the opponent, but you can do something if you can think of something creative to do that. And yeah, that's the down back series. Now, something to note about the interactions between the down back and the down forward series is that the water whip can actually be incorporated into our quarter circle forward chain of random attacks, where we've got our lows and overheads and things. We can actually cancel that into our stance as well. So this is the quarter circle forward of the Rekka. I can go quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, and I go straight into my water whip stance. And then I can cancel into my water whip follow-ups. I can even do it after the second part of the Rekka. Whoops. There we go. I went into the water whip and did the light follow-up. Now, this can be really useful in combos or particularly in pressure, because most of the follow-ups of this are reasonably unsafe. The safest one is the overhead at -9, but you're pretty close to the opponent. But If you cancel this into a Water Whip, you're -9 with a bit more pushback, and this can also lead to cool combos, because if you go into the heavy Water Whip from something like this, sorry, as you can see, you get the strike from the heavy Water Whip entrance, and then you get to do the light follow-up or the medium follow-up, and that's a pretty decent amount of damage for just 2 special moves into each other, and it keeps you a bit more safe. So I can do stuff like this. A decent amount of pushback at -9, so that's a really intense block string where I can go low and overhead, have some mix-ups, and then go into my Water Whip stance and be safe to choose what follow-up I do. Now, one more note on the Water Whip stance is that while I'm in the stance, you can actually use her flow movement. And there is actually a special hit when you use this. So if you use 2 flow movements and then land one of these, you'll get an extra heavy strike that, you know, those special hits that exist in the game when you achieve certain missions. And even when you are not using that specific like thing where you do double dash into something to get the big mega strike, all of her Water Whips will be enhanced. So they'll do more damage, better knockdown. For example, the low one, like if I dash away and try to use it, be like, oh, try to catch me. Nope, I'm out of there. It leads to a hard knockdown. So you maybe get better pressure when you're in the corner, because they can't roll out of the corner, which is cool. And the heavy one just has a better hit stun so that you can lead to more combos from it. Now, that is all of her specials. For her supers, you've got quarter circle forward, and all of the buttons is her like weaker super or her 3-bar super, and then her full meter super, which I do not have full meter. Full 7 bars is a lot more short ranged, but a lot more damaging. The level 1 super is actually really good, even from something like this, like a Water Whip, which would normally launch the opponent like full screen. It's so fast that it can catch people from like any kind of hit that would push them full screen and catch them and hit them with the ice. So this can be really good not only for adding more damage, but if you don't want to zone the opponent, or perhaps you're getting zoned out, if you end your combos in this, it makes sure that you don't launch them full screen at the end of your combos so that you can keep Oki and stuff going. So just good to take note of that. So that is her whole moveset. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.